Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Your Business Brilliance. And we are getting such great feedback. We've been in this a while, and you have been sitting in the presence of just such real authentic storytellers and business people and healers. And you've been sharing your stories of how that's affecting and changing your lives. And I just want to say thank you for contributing your energy to this series. And today's interview, I just got to tell you a little bit of the behind the scenes, not necessarily conversation, but thought process, is I ran across this lovely young woman. I don't even know how. You guys know what I mean by you don't know how you run across people or how you get an email or you see something. And her energy captured me. You know, I wanted to look away, or maybe I didn't because sometimes I try to avoid working, but I wanted to turn her stuff off. I wanted to stop listening, but I'm not even going to tell you. You guys will experience it. So magnetic, and what she says, I think it's a little different message than what we hear in general in a lot of these different genres that we work in. So I'm going to introduce Isabelle. I'm not even going to do your name because, like I was telling her, I'm going to let her share her last name because I took 4 years of French. How does this happen? I went to private school, took 4 years of French, and I flunked the last couple of years, but I still had 4 years of French. So anyway, not the best of French, so I'm going to let her say your name. But her business name, I can say that, is Leap Zone Strategy. So write that down because I'm sure you're going to want to participate just to bask under Isabelle's spell. So if you could introduce your full name, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. I'm Isabelle. The full name is Isabelle Mercier Turcotte, but you can just say Isabelle Mercier. It's totally cool. And I am sure that your French is actually much better than you think.
I love that. And it may be. It actually may be. So share with us, kind of come in through the door of, share with us who you are and kind of your business brand. What is your message? Why are you here? Why was I so captivated by you? Give us all the juicy secrets.
Okay. Well, what I do is I basically help small business owners, products, services, teams. I help people basically find and uncover their X factor. I've got this genius ability to hone down and help people uncover what makes them different, what makes them the first, the best, or the only. And it's all about being fearless. It's all about being bold and gutsy while being authentic and real, right? And to find the middle between that and to really, most people don't know what makes them very unique and why I would buy you or engage with you rather than someone else, regardless of price. And in a nutshell, that's what I do.
You know what? You really said a couple mouthfuls there. You said regardless of price. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. But, even this masterclass, your business brilliance, activating your radical blueprint for success. This was like created for you. Like you could do a program on this. Like this is what you do. This whole energetics, all parts of that kind of is the big umbrella of what you do. And that is really brilliant because what I see, and I want to talk to you a little bit about this, as a trend in the industry as a whole, is cookie cutter. So everybody's like, I have this great program, and you take one step inside of it, and it's like, I'm going to teach you how to do this sales talk, and it's going to have 10 points, and I'm going to teach you how to do a summit, and it's going to have this 5 points, and you do my formula, and I guarantee you're going to make $5 million. And we're really being sold. Now, don't get me wrong, although I, probably like Isabelle, is not a always super structured person, I do see the value in structure. So I'm not knocking structure, Isabelle. But what I'm saying is, could it be the reason why we haven't leveled up or why we haven't even gotten on the playing board as far as our business is because we're literally trying to be and do like everyone else?
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring this up as a point because truly there are formulas, there are blueprints, like you even use the word blueprint in your thing, right? So there are structures that are needed to elevate and to help people go through a step-by-step process in order for them to land the learning and implement the learning. So that you're right when you say that structure is important. Where most people lack creativity and innovation is because they don't, we have a process at Leap Zone that we call the Leap Zone Elevator. And we look at who you are, what you do, what makes you different, And then we look at how is it that you could deliver this genius in a differentiated way. Where people lack is in the wow, like there's an X factor and a wow factor. The X factor is what makes you different. The wow factor is how you deliver your genius in a unique and compelling and authentic way. The only difference, there are millions of coaches on earth. They all do similar coaching. Why would I choose you over someone else, regardless of price? Well, because I connect with you, because I like your energy, because you say a few things that grabs me by the balls or the silver ovaries. But the whole point that what I do is I help people create things, processes, products, and then I help them elevate them to the next level so that they're in line with them. Because the only difference between you, Kimberly, and someone else who does what you do is your DNA. It's the way you think, the way you do things. And if you don't inject a lot of these things, which we call the wow factor, if you don't inject new ways and innovative ways, your own way of delivering what everybody else delivers, then what happens is people base their decision on price, and whomever's cheaper wins. However, with what I do, normally whomever's most expensive will actually win. Not because of just the money, but because of the whole developed and organized and delightful experience around it. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And it's so funny because I had someone trying to pitch me to use them as a branding expert. And I'm a big believer. I think you do an element of that, obviously, in what you're talking about. I'm a big believer in branding experts and someone helping you with your branding. And I went to a mentor of mine and I said, okay, well, how should I brand myself? And she said, you can't. And that's your selling point. I'm like, well, whoa, like it took me, I think I'm still digesting that. Because she's like, you are whatever anyone needs that shows up at the time and you will be that. And I'm like, you can't market that. And she's like, yes, you can. And I think that's kind of those intangibles is where you go with people. And I love that. And I love what you said all about price, because we can all pretend and we can sit around and we can drink coffee or rum or whiskey's my what I would be sipping on, but depending on the day. But we can all sit around and pretend we're over spiritualized and we don't care about the success of our business and we're all doing it for the service of the planet. And yes, there's elements of that, but we're all here. You guys came here, a lot of you, to know how to make your business more profitable. So that line, when you say regardless of price, it really piques my interest. Mm-hmm. Regardless of price. How is that even possible? Can we talk more about that?
Yeah, you bet. It's funny because there's another level. I didn't think there was another level after that, but there is. And I discovered that, and I will get back to this answer. I discovered that doing my TEDx talk. I've been building a business and a series of products for a variety of different levels of business owners. And I've built it in a way where people wait 3 years to work with me because they need to organize a few things. They need to get a bit of money down. And now obviously I've created other opportunities to work with me at a much lesser investment, which is great. However, so I've set it up in a way that it's, oh my God, no matter what, I want to work with you regardless of price. Now, that doesn't mean you need to overcharge people. It just means that if you happen to be more expensive or more of an investment than someone else, they will still choose you over that. The next level after that, and I've experienced that with the TED Talk, is I will work with you regardless of what you do. So, oh my God, I love your energy. I would love to get myself some of that energy. And I don't know what you do, but no matter what you do, I want to work with you. So that's the next level after that. But to answer your question around the regardless of price, a lot of people, it's easy. I'm sure that you would agree to this, that it's if you're good at what you do, and if you're decent at doing it, right? I'm not asking for perfection here. I'm asking for decency.
Right.
Once someone has experienced you, it's a no-brainer for them to go, oh my God, well, yeah, the value is there. This is amazing. But before they work with you, they don't know the value that you bring on the table. They don't know how good you are. You say you're good. Some of your clients give testimonials that you're good, but they haven't experienced it. So for them, ultimately, they don't know exactly the value that what you bring on the table. And then you're asking an amount of money for that. When people say, I don't have the money right now, or this is too much money for me, it never, or I will say rarely, I'm a radical speaker, so I'm just going to soften this up a little bit and say it is rarely about the money. What it is about, it's about them not seeing and understanding the value for that money, for that investment. So if you wholeheartedly know what you stand for, if you wholeheartedly understand what makes you different, and if you own it with every cell of your body, and you operate fearlessly without apologizing for who you are and what you do, the confidence that drives from that alone can have you charge the money that you're worth, right? Because yes, we're in business to serve. But if we're not successful and if we're not making money, we're not going to be able to serve and serve well. So it's a symbiotic relationship between give and take, right? So it's all about understanding your DNA, because I am a brand builder. This is what I do. I build brand experiences for a living. But most people think a brand is a logo and a website.
Yes.
A brand is not a logo. It's not a website. It's not a brochure. All those pieces are little glimpses of what makes a brand. What truly branding is how people think, what people say about you when you leave the room. It's what people feel when they buy you and experience you. And the consistency and the assurance and the guts of that is what people, there's a video online about an iPhone, an old video, and it's about this little cartoon, cartoon girl going to the store wanting to buy an iPhone. Now, the iPhone is not the best smartphone out there. It's known. It's actually way lesser of a quality of a phone than some of the Samsung phone, for example. Now I might get shot from saying that, but
I was going to say, I'm ducking.
Yeah, exactly, right? But here's the thing. When you create a brand that people want and people are loyal fans, like the Mac brand and the Apple brand, that little video depicted that very well. The little girl goes to the store and goes, I want an iPhone. Oh, we don't sell iPhone here, but we sell the Samsung, blah, blah, blah. Right. It actually does so much more than the iPhone. I don't care. I want an iPhone. Yeah, but the Samsung will serve you coffee in the morning. It will deposit your paycheck. Like it was down to paying your mortgage, basically. Wow. And then the girl's like, I don't care. I want an iPhone. That is what branding is about. It's building momentum, building a movement, building a loyal fan base that no matter what, they're going to stick with you. And that people need to believe in you, in what you believe for that. People don't buy what you do, right? They buy why you do it. And that's an important factor of branding that most people don't understand. They give me their business card and go, don't mind my branding. I go, oh, I've been experiencing your branding for the last 10 minutes that we've been talking. Don't, wow. That's just a little add-on. It's just, I compare a business to a chocolate sundae. The recipe, the ingredients of the business architecture. And let's come back on business architecture in a moment. And if I forget, please bring
sure.
There's something important to be said about that. But the whole sundae, the little cherry on top of the sundae, is basically your look and feel, the cosmetic side of your brand. Now, if a sundae looks fantastic but tastes like crap, it will only be bought once and never again.
Good point. Mm-hmm.
The goal of having an amazing brand and an amazing business is to have a sundae that tastes good, that the ingredients are healthy, and that when you eat it once, not only do you want to eat it all over again and again, but you want to brag about it, you want to talk about it, regardless of what that little cherry is on top, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I want to throw you a little, because you can handle it, I'm going to throw you a devil's advocate question.
Yes, I love it.
That I received, and I'm not going to tell you my answer, but I would very interested in hearing yours. So, because I deal with energy, people are very, very different. Not everybody's like you and I. Obviously, we don't present, like, you and I or like whoever. We're all very unique, like you said, from our DNA and many other things. Can you help, and I mean this, anyone have those two things that you were talking about, the X factor and the wow factor?
Okay. The global answer is yes. The practical answer is absolutely not. So
I love that.
can my genius help just about anybody get to that? Of course.
I believe that, yes.
Do I want to? Absolutely not. I want to work with people who are trailblazers. I want to work with people who are obsessed with being the best, the first or the only, not for ego purposes,
right,
but for level of impact purposes. I want to work with people who are gutsy and who are not afraid to go off the beaten path. So that is who I am meant to work with. Now, and I explain this in my Build to Rock program, where a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid to niche. And unfortunately, when you speak to the whole jungle, the animals don't understand.
That's so good.
Like if you want to work with lionesses, then you need to learn the lionesses lingo. You need to learn their problems. You need to figure out a solution that the lionesses are going to go, oh my God, where the heck have you been all my life, right? And then you need to learn how to speak to the lioness for the lioness to go, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. But most people, what they do is they go, hey, jungle, I know your problem. And I have a great, they don't even know, they don't even go, I know your problem. They go, I have a great solution for you. First of all, you're talking to giraffes, hyenas, snakes and lions, and none of these people get along. None of these people actually have the same problems. And not only that, but most people talk I have a great solution for you. And the solution is this high when the people are right here. I'm not saying they're less good. I'm saying this is where they are and these are the problems that they're experiencing. In order for you to listen to me, I have to say, oh my God, Kimberly, I so understand the problem that you're going through right now. I've been there. And I figured out a solution that's worked for me and that's worked for other people as well. Do you want to hear more about it? You understand my problem and you say that you have a solution. Yeah, I want to hear more about it. But now that doesn't mean that someone cannot work with lions and zebras at the same time. They just can't speak to a lion the way they would speak to a zebra. So it's very important to have different messaging and a different way. I sell Build to Rock, or I enroll people in my program Build to Rock, different people. It's meant for creative people. So sometimes I talk to graphic designers and I enroll them in my program, and sometimes I talk to coaches. Okay. Well, these two people don't have the same problems. And yet the solution is my Build to Rock program. It's the same solution. So, but the way I communicate it, the benefits and the problem solving isn't the same. These two don't speak the same language. Make sense?
It makes absolute sense. And I love something else you said. You talked about niching down, and I don't think I've ever, you need to do something with that phrase. The jungle animals thing is so brilliant. You need
it's trademarked and it's in my Build to Rock program.
Okay. I was is that, you can tell my past life is marketing and branding when I worked in radio. I zeroed in on that. I'm like, that's brilliant. Yeah. I love it. And you know that obviously, but you know what? I've never heard it put quite so effectively, and I've resisted it my whole business until now, interestingly enough. And as we've shifted to really owning and standing and speaking, like what you're talking about, we have really seen the benefit of that, which is what you hit on earlier. And I don't know if you remember that you said that, but it's the difference between a one-time purchase or one-time client. It's so nice knowing you, Isabelle. I'm out next, the endless hope chasing to work with and programs that work and all that. The beautiful thing about building a community, or even not a community, just really helping someone with their problem where they're really deeply satisfied, and if that's what you're doing, you're not even building a community, is that if I have success with you, I'm going, the next time someone comes to me, whether it's in my group or if it's on Facebook or in the grocery store, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, no, I had that problem. And I worked with this really cool woman named Isabelle, and I took her program and I learned this. And so you don't only get the benefit of the authentic, message with the people you were talking to, you also get the echo effect, which we don't
Yes.
think about. And so I think my whole thinking's really changed because I wanted to reach everybody. Like I thought you made and built a business making more money, obviously. Like you said, a lot of people think that. And I was taught when I first came into the business that I'm in, that I'm kind of crossing out of right now, I was taught speak to the pain points. And guess what the pain points were? Their health and their love and their money, but how general.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm screaming, to everyone, and it works and it doesn't work. Like there's an element that, of course, it resonates, but it doesn't resonate, I think, in a successful, a reproducible, sustainable manner where you can really build this rich, authentic business on it. Just super brilliant, and that's one thing I love about you. I think you're very relatable and speak in fun stories that people. Pictures. It builds pictures in your mind that people can understand. I want to bring you back to business architecture. Did you?
Thank you for that. Yeah. Building a great business, nobody wakes up one morning going, today is the day that I want to build something that's going to get me to be overwhelmed, overworked, and underpaid. Nobody makes that decision. We start a business, or meaning we start being self-employed, because there's a big difference between being self-employed and owning and building a business.
Sure.
Regardless of the two, you're still deciding to be on your own.
Right.
And unfortunately, and fortunately, we're really good at our craft, but we're not that great at understanding business and the architecture of a business, so that it, without fail, gives us more flexibility, more freedom, the ability to create more impact, which we all want, and of course the ability to make more money, which we all want. Sorry about that. I thought I had.
No, mine's been going off too.
So it's important to understand that there is a method to this madness. And two things I want to link together: the brand and business architecture with what you just said about linking it with the niche market and understanding who we want to target. Because it's important to know who we want to work with, because even if we like to work with lions, that doesn't mean we want to work with all the lions. We want to work with a specific kind of lion that has a specific trait. So in my Built to Rock program, I teach how to go minimum 5 layers deep on all of that.
Wow.
And so once you know who you want to serve and what the problems are, because health is way too vague of a problem. And what we want to do is we don't want to be too vague in our teaching. Of course, we can solve more than one problems for our clients, but we cannot get them to enroll with us talking about 10 different problems. It has to be one. They have to get their foot in the door with one thing that is top of mind, right? I hear a lot of people say, what I teach is very needed, but the people don't know they need it yet.
Yes.
Then you cannot start the entry level with that. Nobody is going to buy something that they don't know they need or want. Unless you educate them for a while on video and you show them, you attract them with the main problem, which is usually way more surface than we want it to be. But that's nobody lies at night, worrying about their overall health. They lie at night worrying about their liver or the problem at hand that they have, their migraines, or So it's a lot more narrow than we think, and that doesn't mean you're going to be known for that forever. It just means that for that marketing campaign, this is what you're targeting. And in the business architecture, if you don't know who you are as a brand, as a foundation, if you don't know how to nurture and how to enroll people, for example, in my WOW delivery, the elevator process, that's just a process that I've created. I look at, there's 8 key delivery methodologies. First, you have to pre-qualify your clients, right? You need to have a good pre-qualifying process. Then some people, I have 2. I have a pre-qualifying process and I have a qualifying process. Then I have a proposal process. Then I have an onboarding process. How do I onboard clients that I'm going to work with? How do I serve them best? How do I delight them in this process? Then I'm also clear about my renewal process. I'm clear about my closure process, my completion process. And then once you're done working with someone, how are you going to nurture them so that they still remain a fan and they still get a lot of value from you for free? So the business architecture needs many different factors and ingredients in order for you to create something that is fun, that is sustainable, that creates impact, and that you can actually be paid what you're worth. And a lot of people don't know the ingredient, which is what I teach in my Built to Rock program. That program is a branding, marketing, and business architecture building program to ensure that you are the best, the first, or the only, and that you have more fun in your business. Imagine if an amazing business person, I don't know, let's take Richard Branson. Imagine if Richard Branson, which is good in business, suddenly said to a photographer or to a web designer, coder, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I will start coding tomorrow. I will take on some of your clients. I mean, the coder would go, there's no freaking way you could do that. Yet a coder is going to decide tomorrow to start a business without knowing anything about the business.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm not saying coders cannot be great business people. I'm saying get the right tools, get the right mentoring, because if you don't, you're going to have a lot of money wasted for big mistakes you could have avoided. I wish when I started, there would have been a Built to Rock program out there. I totally wish there would have been, because it would have saved me a lot of aggravation. It would have saved, now mind you, had there been one, I would not have created it. So no, but.
She takes that out of the concept.
Yeah, exactly. But, all of that to say, when you have the right mentorship, when you have the right people around you, the right success community, and you have the right tools to save time and save money and save a whole lot of aggravations, the point of you getting to overwhelm, overworked, and underpaid is diminished greatly. And by the way, 97% of all small business owners on the planet end up overwhelmed or overworked and underpaid. That's a big ratio, and I'm on a mission to change that.
That's a sad ratio, because a lot of those people are what you talked about, the best or the only, or they could easily become. They probably are, like you said, everybody is, versus via their DNA, unless you're a clone, and even then you are.
That's it. And I'm sure that that's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. I'm sure it's happened to any of you listening, that you look at other people's stuff and you go, oh my God, I cannot believe that this person is getting this stuff out there. It's not even good. And I'm so much better than them. And I don't mean that again in an ego way. I just mean it in authentic, oh my God. And these people are making money. And I will tell you, if you don't get clear and if you don't get focused, your clients, your future clients, people buy. The thing is, are they going to buy you, or are they going to buy someone who's going to serve them less? It's about you getting your act and your stuff together and clarity and focus together to be able to enroll more people to help them and impact them your way.
Yeah, and I think that's a brilliant container for what you do, those last couple sentences. So if you guys are like, wait, what did she do? Just rewind that and listen to those last couple sentences, because I think that really framed it nicely. So am I to understand that when we work with you, and I know there's different levels, is there a community resource? Are we connected to, obviously, there's a lot of people I know that could never even handle a tenth of you, so you're more than enough. But are there people other than you that they would engage with or come in contact with, when they enroll in your programs?
Oh my God, absolutely. In fact, when you went one-on-one with me, it's with me and my small core team. Okay. And we have a retreat center on the island in which we're moving to right now. Fantastic. It's going to be called Trailblazers. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to do small business retreats, the word I'm looking for is intimate, very intimate retreats where You and I are going to lift our sleeves and we're going to work it together.
Wow.
But as I spoke on stages, I used to work solely one-on-one, and I used to work solely for the larger corporations of the world.
Wow.
And I fell in love with small business owners, from solopreneurs to partnership, all the way to small teams.
Okay.
I fell in love with small business owners, but I didn't have any products or any servicing for that smaller bracket. And so 2 years ago, that's precisely what happened. I created Build to Rock, and it's by application only. Everyone speaks to me before they get involved in the program. I make sure that it's the right program for them. And the community that I've accidentally built, there's some strategy in there, but honestly, people are so amazing. You have the Facebook community, which is private, solely for people that are paid programs. And I communicate daily on this Facebook. And then there's coaching calls every week, and there's modules. So and then you get access to my Rolodex and access to my community, the people that my mentors, and it is a fantastic community. And truly, I'm not the only one saying it. Everybody, most people in the program double, triple their revenue. They operate with more authenticity, with more clarity. And in fact, this weekend was a weekend where 3 graduates of about a year ago have resurfaced because they get access to the Facebook group forever. And so they've resurfaced and given me testimonials, unsolicited completely, of how they've would never have lived and continued their business without the Build to Rock program. So I am a blessed woman for having had the genius building this, obviously, but also for having such amazing people go through it and create phenomenal brands, phenomenal businesses, and having fun making more money,
I love that. I love that you use words like delight and nurture, and those are energetic words, and those make us feel a certain way. And I have the feeling, that when we enroll in your programs, we're delighted, we're surprised, we laugh, we're nurtured.
I love to delight people. First of all, I always give more than what the program says. So whatever the amount of weeks I say you're going to get in coaching, you'll get more. Yeah. And then what I do is, because I have a design background and we're also a branding agency, the program is designed beautifully. It is simple to use. It's intelligent. You can click download to download everything, as opposed to downloading
I know.
The way I've named the files, when you download it, it all clusters together. Like, it's been really well thought through. And all the emails that you get, they're well designed. They're inspirational, and I do love to delight. So it really is, I built something that I'm proud of, that I would love to be a part of. And by the way, I do my own program, right? We operate in a way that I teach. I do speak
I love that.
I walk my talk, and we utilize the tools that I teach. And the people I'm dyslexic as a human being. So for me, answering people on Facebook and writing long posts is not my cup of tea. So what I do is, when there's a question that requires a little bit more writing, I will personally record a video from my iPhone directly. So if you had a question and it was a brand strategy question that needed my talking, I would record. I look there because my camera's right here, and I would record, and I would say, Kimberly, here's your question. Here's the answer to your question. And then I post it on Facebook, and I tag a whole bunch of people that are in the program right now that I think this would be relevant for them. So it's not just, you don't just learn immensely from the questions that you ask, but you also learn from everybody else's questions. And I'm thrilled with the community that we've built.
I love that so much. Before we talk about your free gift and remind people how to find you, take me back to, you said, solopreneur, small business, that group of people, you chose that. That shows, talk about delight. No wonder you can deliver delight, because because you chose the group of people you're working with, that delights you. And therefore, if we're coming from that joyful, expansive place, we can delight others. So I love that. But you said something in corporate. You said you were working in large corporations. Can you just give us a snippet of your background? What qualifies you? You see, and I don't think anything needs to, you guys, qualify you other than you can be amazing, never have gone to school, never have a degree, never have the experience. However, I love what you said about business. And I do want you guys, as much as you're going to be distracted by Isabelle's amazing energy, I want you to also hear. So if you can't hear the first time, open your hands, receive the energy, then go back and listen. Because your energy, seriously, I bet people join just because you're you. And that's so cool. And then they benefit in untold ways. And that's super cool too. But I want you guys to listen because, and I'm going to give a personal little caution. This is what derailed me. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Isabelle and everybody else, this is what still derails me. I have aspects of being a brilliant businesswoman, but I don't always have the pieces all in moving synchronicity to not have, the staff's getting away from me and I go chasing. And, so there is something to the business, no matter who you are, whether you're a dancer and you're opening a dance studio, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a healer. It doesn't matter who you are and what you sell or who you're being. There's an aspect we need. Programs like Isabelle's, and we need people like Isabelle. We need that structure. Please hear that, because it's really easy to be like, to own the other pieces of what you're talking about. I know I'm the one. I can bring the energy. People will come no matter what I'm selling. Like sometimes we bring that, and I think that's a little piece of what I bring. But then I'm like, I'm drowning in the business. They're getting amazing stuff, but I'm suffering on the back end.
That's right.
Tell us just a teeny bit about that corporate background that kind of works so brilliantly with your natural personality to deliver both.
Okay, so I will start by saying that my dad was a very logical business person. He was a radio and TV talk show host, but very, very business savvy.
Okay.
Rain Man type of guy. And my mom, very delightful human being, hairdresser, works in service business all her life, pleasing people and delighting people is her craft.
Well,
so
there you go.
this is how I was raised. Now, working with the A&Ws of the world and the HSBCs of the world and the IMAXs of the world taught me. Now, I didn't work in the corporations, right? I was still, I had my own business and I was their suppliers. But what it taught me is that in order to be successful, there is a path to follow. First of all, you need to reverse engineer
I love that.
what you want. So, a lot of people, I'll give you an example around building a house. If you're building your house and you want a hot tub, but nowhere near on your plans is there a hot tub, there is no way that you have no right at the end of building your house to bitch about you not having a hot tub if the hot tub wasn't reverse engineered into your plans. Well, that's the same thing for business. So in business, you need to reverse engineer. You need to fast forward 10 years from now. What do you want to be known for? What kind of impact do you want to have created? What are some of the big things that you want to have under your belt? I don't mean a house. I mean, maybe you want a bestseller book. Maybe you want a TED Talk. Maybe what are the things that you're working towards? And then you need to reverse engineer that all the way down to what are my 5 objectives for this year? What are my 5 goals for this year? What are my 3 objectives for this quarter? And then I have tools as part of the Build to Rock program. There's tools to fill out in this quarter. This is what I'm going to focus on. This week, this is what I'm going to focus on, which means today, this is what I'm going to focus on. So I meet a lot of people who a year later, they had great intentions, but then life got in the way and blah, blah, blah. That's because they just don't have the architecture in place to actually make it happen. And so working with larger corporations taught me that there's a proper architecture. Now, mind you, most large corporations don't even have that proper architecture. But what it taught me is that I was sad to see that small business owners knew nothing about this architecture and, of course, ended up being overwhelmed, overworked, and underpaid. And they didn't have the means, the time, and the money to hire the big boys that work with the corporations to make that work. And I thought, that is highly unfair, and I want to put a stop to that. So I stopped 9 months. I completely put my business on hold for 9 months to create this program. And it is all about getting clear about who you are, what you do, what makes you different, how you're going to say your genius, right? How are you going to sell your genius? And then it's about getting really focused on what you need to do today, this week, this month, this quarter, this year to reach your goals. And I've created a tool called Bubble Time, and this is something that I'm going to want to share with you guys. And I created Bubble Time because in my previous business, we were at some point 20 employees, all in one space, no walls. It was an open space. And tell you what, my architecture was screwed up. Here's what happened. I got up at 4, went to work at 5. And from 5 to 9 in the morning, I was so productive. It was amazing. 9 o'clock arrived, my herd arrived. And then from 9 to 5, I was busy putting out fires. I was busy just, managing and doing a whole bunch of things that didn't matter to me and dimmed my bulb. And then at 5, people left, and then I worked till about 11 and got a lot of things done. And then I thought, why is it that I'm so productive before and after work? That means that I have no life. Now, my employees had Fridays off, they had evenings off, and it was amazing. But I had a crappy life, and I thought, well, I'm responsible for that. So I'm gonna reverse engineer what I want. Mm-hmm. And I went from that to taking 14 weeks off per year.
Wow.
Making more money than when I didn't. Awesome. And I created Bubble Time, which is no noise, no phone, no bip bip, no ding ding, no Facebook, no nothing.
Wow.
And we started with an hour and a half of Bubble Time. And then we grew it to half a day per day where nobody answers the phone, nobody says a peep, nobody talks. If we need something, we write it down on a Post-it, like I do all the time. There's Post-it with me all the time.
Thank goodness for Post-its.
Oh, I know. And I should have shares in that company, by the way.
I always say that.
Yeah. And so Bubble Time got us to, or helped us generate 67% more profitability without enrolling one more client.
Really?
Imagine the amount of time that we wasted for not being clear, not being focused, and being distracted all the time. So this is a ritual that we have here. Wow. That is extremely profitable. And I will give you the tool so that you can, I have a little audio podcast that explains the tool, and then I have the sample of the tool. And of course, all those tools and way much more is in my Built to Rock program.
Right. And I'm sure there's some more stuff. You can just, do what I do. I Google everybody. There's her beautiful TED Talk, which we'll post in the Facebook group. So if you guys are part of the Facebook group, I'm going to post that when her interview airs. You guys can watch that easily and have it really accessible. But that's profound. Like, there's so much. Wow. If you have more than this interview, I just say, wow. There's so much, but
we've barely scratched the surface.
I know. I'm like, no, Isabelle, this was a 4-hour interview. You were wrong. We're gonna take what we can get. But that Bubble Time alone, there's so much here. There's just so much. You guys, seriously, you have to get this serious, because you have to be able to rewind this. Like, I'm taking notes and I'm doing this live for me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to go back and watch some of these interviews, and particularly that Bubble Time. It doesn't make sense when we process that through our mind. We're out of time, but I want to go, well, how can you be 67% more? And I get it, but there's some subtlety there that's really profound. It's just, I think, it's just what my daughter said to me this morning. She's like, Mom, it's almost what you said. I almost wonder if she's been reading your stuff or watching your stuff, because she's like, Mom, stop. Just write down 3 things that you want to accomplish today at the beginning of the day and do those. And when you can work everything, and she goes, I don't care if you do them in 2 hours, 5 minutes, or 6 hours. She goes, get those things done.
Okay, so I want to add a couple things to this.
Okay.
That's going to elevate your thinking on that. And she's totally right. So first thing is, my coach Kevin calls it lick the toad. So the one thing that you need to do today, or want to do today, that you don't really want to do, but it needs to be done, get this sucker done early in your day, because the longer you wait for it, the longer it dims your bulb. So
that is so true. So true. It hangs over you and it beats you down all.
And a lot of the time, it's actually a lot worse. Like, the more you wait for it, the worse it gets. If you lick that toad and get her done, it gives you momentum, it gives you energy, and you're proud of what you've accomplished. The second thing is there are different types of to-dos during the day. There are must-do to-dos. There are would-be nice to-do.
Okay.
And a lot of people have a crap load of to-dos in a day, and they all are in the same category for them in their heads.
True.
And if they have 10, 20 tasks and they've accomplished 18, but they haven't done 2, they're going to be disappointed at the end of the day. That's the nature of who we are. So I have a list of the few things that I absolutely need to do today. And then the rest are under would be nice. And I am not allowed being disappointed if I don't tackle, or if I only tackle a few out of the would be nice, because they are would be nice. And that makes that at the end of each day, I am more likely to be proud of what I've accomplished rather than feeling behind. And by the way, if you don't use a calendar to block your time, your work time, you're not going to be as effective and focused and profitable as one who does. Mm-hmm. And in your calendar, if you have a tasks, because tasks and then there's appointments, right?
Yeah.
I book what I need to do as an appointment so that I have the time reserved to do it. Now, I have a list of tasks that sit above my appointments. If a task is to take you more than 15 minutes, it is not a task. It deserves to be an appointment, and you deserve to put it into your calendar. Wow. Because otherwise, that's where all the tasks, you know those tasks that you keep on putting to tomorrow and then to tomorrow and then to tomorrow.
Going to the grocery store.
That's because they're either not important enough or they're not actually booked in the architecture of your day. And by the way, when I said earlier that we take 16 weeks away per year,
right?
And how we build our business every year is we know that these weeks are reserved, they're off, and then we build the business on top of it. It's not like, whenever it'd be nice, whenever it'd be nice. No, it's we put the important stuff first, and then we actually build around it.
And I call that flipping the energy. You're fine.
Yeah, that's right.
So we are going to put that beautiful gift. We're going to put that right below the interview so you guys can have access to it. But tell us how, again, we can get a hold of you and find out about your amazing programs. If anybody does not want to purchase or be involved in this program, I will be stunned, because like I said, if this is any idea, which I'm sure it is, of what's in store for us, just profoundly interesting, different ways of thinking of it. I love that, like the toe, like how can you ever forget that? Just amazing.
Yes.
Little nuggets. I love it. I love it. I love it. So
for sure.
How can we find you? How can we work with you?
Okay. So first of all, for those of you who are interested in applying for Build to Rock, you can go to buildtorock.com, and all the information is on there. And then there's an apply button at the top of the page. So buildtorock.com, you apply, and then I personally review your application. Wow. And we connect, and then we make sure that this is the right program for you. Other than that, there's many different ways. There's leapzonestrategies.com. We are redesigning this website right now, but the under construction website is still very good and very useful, of course. And then you can look for me on Facebook. I have a public group called Build to Rock, public group on Facebook. And then you can look for Isabelle Mercier Turcotte on Facebook. And I am very present on social media. And it is me when I'm there. It is me. I also have an online TV show called Leap TV.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Leap TV, there's 60 episodes of free content. It's
really?
Just an amazing show. If you want to see great bloopers and killer hairdos, that's the place to be.
I love it so much. Well, you are such a delight. Just thank you for showing up as you, exactly what we're talking about here, being your business brilliance, doing it your way, and just really being of service because you're doing that. So thank you so much for being you and the full expression of you at that. I know you've shared, and that's one reason I want to post your TED Talk. I know you shared that you haven't always been this wickedly confident young woman. So definitely a journey. You know, we don't always just show up like this. You know, it's definitely lessons in
It's
life.
definitely a journey. When I'm confident, I am confidently confident. When I am not, I am confidently not confident.
I love that too. So, you know, we are still human here. I
Of
know
course. Oh my God. Yeah.
superhuman, but there are aspects there, but we are also very, very human. But thank you so much for being with us. I can't wait for people to dig in and connect with you. And I so enjoyed our interview. You guys, this is, you know, the echelon of, you know, what I participated in, just brilliance on display. And we're so appreciative. We're so appreciative of you guys watching. Please take advantage of the free gifts below. Please go to Isabelle's website and please connect. So until next time, have an awesome day, you guys. Thank you so much.